We welcome you to Sports Talk. I'm Ted Emrich. We remain on the court this week with boys basketball. And like the girls at this point last week, the boys are halfway through the district schedule. McKinney's scoring machine, A.J. Mutri, shows no signs of slowing down. Boyd is in position for a playoff bid. And North is riding a 4-game win streak after a rough start. Now all eyes are on the rematch between McKinney and McKinney North this week. Round 1 went to double overtime, and we can't wait for round 2. You can catch it Friday night at 7:30 on 97.5 KLAK. Coming up, we'll sit down with the coaches, and we'll also bring you the Dennis Baker State Farm Scholar Athlete of the Week. This is Sports Talk. The McKinney Lions are primed for another top finish in District 10 4A as Coach Wes Watson joins us now. And Wes, halfway through the district schedule, here you are with only one loss to unbeaten Highland Park. What do you take from the first 7 games?
Well, we're in a good spot. We're in the same spot we were in last year. The only difference, we were tied with Highland Park by virtue of their loss at Pierce the first go-around last year. But you know, with our district, with the parity we have in our district, you know, we feel good about where we are. We obviously would have loved to have won the game against Highland Park and been alone in first place, but there's a lot of good teams, and there's not a bad team in this district. So anytime you can go and, you know, reel off 6 out of 7, you got to feel good about it.
It was a 1-point loss to Highland Park, but we look back to this past Friday, Wes, a 20-point victory over Rockwall Heath. You actually trailed after a quarter, but flipped the switch with a 27-point second quarter.
Right. It was you know, it looks like we won comfortably, and you know, and at the end we did. It was a scary game for us because Heath is just, they've got some athleticism. They can get streaky shooting the 3, and they knocked a bunch of them down against us. You know, they lost by 2 at Highland Park, and so it was a game that we, you know, I hate to use the term worry, but we had some concern. They're a good team, and they're better than their record, and they play really hard. You know, and we got ourselves in a hole again. We were down 11-3 early in the game, and wound up, you know, cut it to 15-13 at the end of the first quarter, and then really started getting it rolling, as you said, in the second quarter.
Wes, your team has averaged nearly 80 points a game in district play. In fact, you've scored exactly 83 points in 3 of the last 4 games. You say that this team in particular might fit your system better than any other that you've had. What has allowed this scoring explosion? It seems like you've taken the scoring to new heights with this set of personnel.
Well, I think, you know, we've got some athleticism, which obviously helps. And when you can combine athleticism with, you know, working extremely hard, you know, good things are going to happen for you. And we've been able to force a lot of turnovers, which have created a lot of transition opportunities for us, and we're pretty good in transition. You know, we try to limit the times we have to be in, you know, 5-on-5 in the half court. But I'll say this: I think we're getting a lot better with our half-court execution. We're starting to look a lot like we did at this time of the year last year in terms of our half-court execution. So if you combine that with the fact that we're able to force a lot of turnovers, you know, we rebound better this year. You know, we're really, you know, in a good place right now. I think we're a team with a high upside. You know, there's a lot of teams about this point in the year, they're kind of hitting their ceiling. And the thing I love about our guys is, you know, there's still some areas that we can get better at. You know, things that are very correctable, and once we get those ironed out, I just think we're going to be really, really tough as we move through the rest of the season.
Wes, speaking of high upside, how about A.J. Mutri, who continues to lead the area in scoring, 27 points a game. It seems like he's been on the uptick in terms of scoring lately. 54 points against Pierce, 42 against Wiley East. Does A.J. have a ceiling?
I'm not sure. He continues to impress. I mean, last week he goes out and had 28 on Tuesday night and 35 on Friday night, and like I've said this before, you know, he's so unselfish. It's not like he's getting those points at garbage time, because if we've got a game in hand, we're not going to risk an injury, you know, continuing to have him out there to pad his stats, and he understands that. Our guys do a tremendous job, you know, getting him the basketball. They know he's good. Our system fits him. It fits our guys, and they just do a really good job getting him the ball, and he does a good job doing what he's supposed to do, and that's score a lot of points. So. But he just, it gets getting to the point to where I can't say that anything he does is surprising me. But I am sitting there a little bit in awe of the season that he's had.
While his job is to score the basketball, we know what Red Shannon is supposed to do at the point guard position. Right. Distribute, make an impact on the defensive end, and he certainly does that. His floor game is phenomenal. He's averaging 9 assists. He's averaging 6 steals, and yet he's starting to score a lot more for you. He's averaging 15 points in his last 10 ball games, and it seems like he's improved his shooting as the year has gone along.
He has, and you know, it's just crazy when you look at his stat line at the end of a game. I mean, he flirts with a triple-double every night with points, steals, and assists, and. But what he's done here lately, the last 3 games in particular, is he's done a much better job valuing the basketball. He's taken less risk with the basketball, and he's which gives us, you know, more opportunity to score. You know, the more we have the ball and don't turn it over, the more opportunities we have to score. He has played a very heady last 3 games. I mean, he's really. You know, learned a lot in film sessions. He's really starting to. He's a tough critic on himself. I mean, he really criticizes his own game, and he knew that there was a period there where he was turning the ball over a little bit more than he'd like to. So he's really worked on that, and he's making better decisions on the floor. And if he continues to progress at the rate he has the last few games, you know, the sky's the limit.
Beyond your backcourt, I don't think the supporting cast gets nearly enough attention for what they do to help drive your team to victories, and especially inside. Of course, Shannon and Mutri will grab all the headlines, but the tag team of Nate Higgins and Raynell Denny, they average a combined 12 rebounds a game. Sometimes they put together 20 rebounds together in any particular game, and they do so much for you.
I'm telling you, the production we've gotten out of those guys, and then DQ McGee at times when we rotate him in there, and he plays really hard. But Nate and Raynell, they just you know, like you said, we've had several games this year where the 2 of them have combined for over 20 rebounds, and when you're getting that kind of production from one position on the floor, you got to like what you've got there. Nate's played extremely well the last couple of games. Ray just has a knack for blocking shots. He's had I think he had a game early in the year where he blocked close to 10 shots. I mean, it's not uncommon at all. And like you mentioned, it is a team deal. I know scoring-wise and assist-wise, you see AJ and Red, you know, and they get a lot of the publicity, and rightfully so. They're outstanding players. But for us to do what we do, and we have to rely on the rest of those guys. And we got a bunch of team people on our team, and all of them do a great job filling their role. And otherwise, we wouldn't be able to have the success we've had.
Wes, I remember a year ago at this time, through the first half of district play, your only loss was to Highland Park. And you told me at that point that you said to your players, hey, we can use this as a defining moment for us and learn from it, or we can just sit around and feel sorry for ourselves. Obviously, that team responded well last year. They suffered only 1 loss the rest of the way in the district schedule. It seems like so far, only 2 games removed, they're responding well once again from a close loss to Highland Park. They're taking what they need to from it and just moving on.
Absolutely, and we kind of approached it the same way. You know, we had some sad faces in that locker room afterwards, and you know, I had a little conversation with Red before we went into the locker room to address the whole team, and you know, we just said we're going to use this. We're going to be better because of this, you know. And no one likes the way it tastes when you lose, And sometimes it takes the taste of defeat to make you really start to think about, hey, maybe we need to correct some things. Maybe we do need to do this better or that better. And for us, it's blocking out and drawing charges. Those are two things that we can get better at. And if we improve those two areas, then we can be an outstanding basketball team. Because we've got opportunities throughout the game to make plays like that, and we've got to start making those plays. So, much like last year, we challenged them, to not feel sorry for ourselves, to, pick ourselves back up and really start playing a very high level of basketball. And we were really pleased with what we saw this past week. I don't think we played anywhere close to our best basketball the first half of district. And I say that, and we're 6-1. We escaped a few of those games. We did. We could have played a lot better in all of those games. And I'm hoping what you're seeing now is us starting to hit our stride a little bit, starting to gain confidence, starting to see the things that, we need to do that can make us a better team. And like I say, I'm really excited about what the rest of the season holds because this group's just got a lot of potential.
It's time for the second round of district play. You play Rockwall coming up Tuesday night. It's a team you beat by 17 the first time around. But the Yellow Jackets are on the move right now. They're tied for fourth place.
Right. We're going to get a very hungry Rockwall team. They're going to come in here. I think they're tied with Pierce for the fourth spot, the final playoff spot. They've got the head-to-head against Pierce early in the year. So we're going to get their very best shot. And I'm sure they felt like that they didn't play their best game against us the first time around, and they've improved since then. So, and they've had a chance to look at our game, look at that film, and try to make the necessary adjustments. And of course, we're going to do the same. See what we like, see what we don't like, and make a few tweaks here and there. But we're going to get their best shot tomorrow night, and we need to, come out ready to go because they will be.
I know you're focused on Rockwall, but we know what looms on Friday. Speaking of a team giving their best shot, yeah, McKinney North. Yeah, who knew that was up next on the schedule after Rockwall. It took double overtime to beat the Bulldogs the first time around, and it probably wouldn't be a shock to need more than just regulation to determine a winner in the rematch.
Well, I think the last time we did this together was the day of the North game. And I'm not a prognosticator, but I think I did say it wouldn't surprise me a bit if it goes right down to the wire. And I wished it hadn't, but since it kind of fell our way, we will take it. But I know that speaking of battling back, North has done a tremendous job. They had they lost that one to us, and it was a tough loss for them because Red went and hit 3 free throws at the end of regulation to put it into overtime to begin with. And then they lost to Highland Park later in the week, and since then they've reeled off 4 straight wins. They're playing a very good brand of basketball right now, and when that game rolls around, it'll be a battle like it always is. But as you said, our sole focus right now has to be on Rockwall, and I'll promise you it is.
Wes, best of luck in that one, and we'll see you Friday night.
I appreciate it, Ted. Thank you.
Coach Wes Watson of the McKinney Lions. Hey, round 2 of the Crosstown Showdown, McKinney versus McKinney North. It'll be a blast, and you'll be able to catch it Friday night at 7:30 on 97.5 KLAK.